Welcome, everybody, to another episode 192, The Truth. This is Joel B. Supernoff. My partner, Brother Stan, Kevin Senier, is right next to me. What's up, brother?
Howdy, howdy. I'm here.
All right, guys, listen. We missed having a Christmas episode. Kevin's got 42 kids, 18 jobs, and another one on the way.
On the way. That's right.
On the way. Another one on the way. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I imagine you're rooting for a boy to even out the teams.
That would be nice. That would be the optimal. 2 and 2. That would be nice.
Now, Sister Sin. That is four. I mean, that's still four. That's going to be 4 babies. 2 babies and 2. What are they? Glad would know what they're called.
Toddlers. Yeah.
Toddlers, and then. So that's a lot of work, and she works full time, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Well, Sister Sin, congratulations. Brother Sin, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's
Lad went to his grandparents in Tulsa for Christmas, so we had to have our Christmas a couple days earlier. I took the day off. We went to Dick's Sporting Goods. And I got him presents, and he unwrapped presents, and it was a lot of fun. We talked about the bullies, and hey guys, if you want to do something, you don't need to go very far to make a difference. Whether you're a professional athlete or just a man of the community. And I want to give a shout out to my buddy Mark Groom. Mark is a gentle giant, a conflicted giant. This guy's 6'7", 6'8", 280, all muscle, and he's also has a beautiful young daughter named Audrey. I believe she's in 8th grade. And Mark's a bro. He's been a friend a long time. Well, Mark found a family in Bend, Oregon that they weren't going to have a Christmas, and he took it upon himself to say, you know what, they are going to have a Christmas. I'm going to make it my job not to come all the way out of pocket myself, but I'm going to go rattle some cages. And sure enough, it started out as a Facebook post, and Mark knows a lot of people. On Christmas, there was a picture of a Dodge Caravan just absolutely loaded with gifts for this family, and I wanted to make a special mention to my brother Mark. That was an absolutely phenomenal job what he did, and the lesson is, Mark wasn't the only reason Mark used social media in that manner was to get people involved. It wasn't to pound himself on the chest saying, hey, look at me, I'm going to take care of this family. That's a lesson for all of us. It starts with me, taking care of me. Then I can take care of you. And then if I can take care of anybody else, I don't need it to be somebody on the other side of the world. It can be somebody right down the street.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's huge. I mean, that's an amazing thing that he did. For those people, and we should all take it upon ourselves to take the opportunities to share our blessings, because we've all got something. We may not all be wealthy, and we may not all have the fortune of some, but we've all got something to be thankful for, and we should all take opportunities to try and share that and spread that, and help other people, spread the word of the causes, and that's awesome. That's especially during the holidays, because you hate to think of people going without, and especially children, and that's huge, man.
Yeah, I thought it was a great thing, and so now Audrey is in 8th grade. Lad's a freshman in high school, and they spent all sorts of time together. Now Mark just posted a picture of Audrey on Facebook, and it looked like a supermodel. I mean, she looked all grown up. And I was blown away. I was like, oh my God, that's little Audrey. And so I sent it to Lad. I sent that picture to Lad. He had two responses. He had two responses. Both of them were absolutely beautiful. The first one was, "Wow, she has blossom." I thought that was a woman right there. And his second response was, "When are we going to see them again?"
All right, Lad.
So there we go.
Hot-blooded young man.
Stan, I wanted to talk a little bit of truth about the fact, and I'm not trying to beat anybody up. I'm not trying to throw shade on anybody. I'm actually going to give credit to where credit is due. But the reality is, there is no MMA news. There is absolutely no mixed martial arts news. The sport covers itself. The fighters send out tweets of what's going on, and the one guy that has the most stroke, which is Ariel Helwani, and he's done a great job of capturing. The only news that comes out is through him and his sources.
Yeah.
Very rarely will anybody break any news. It breaks itself. And I think the MMA news is so far behind the sport because it's the same sites. You were fans, and you can take any other fan out there and they're going to the exact same sites we're going to. They're seeing the exact same news, and then they see that. So there's no reporting going on. Nobody's actually trying to find the next big thing or the really cool story of what's going on.
Oh yeah,
it covers itself. And the reason what jumped out at me this week, and it irritated me to no end, was first of all, I'm a GSP mark. I love GSP. GSP can do whatever he wants. But they said his coach came out and said, he'd love a super fight with Mayweather or Conor, and then they doubled down. Then the coach, Firas Zahabi, is that his name?
Firas Zahabi.
There you go. So he comes out and he doubles down and he says that, we'd love this Mayweather fight. He's got hands of death or death in his hands, but we sure would love that challenge. Coach it. Shut up. Shut up. I don't want to hear that. I've been around too long. That's what happens when we don't have anything to talk about. A coach is going to come out and start talking like it means something. Coaches, listen. This is the truth for you. Shut up. Now, if George wants to come out and say something, good for him. Agents, shut up. I don't want to hear an agent. This is where social media has went wrong. Social media covers everybody. Oh, this guy said this and this guy said that. There's only 3 or 4, big websites that cover MMA. So all they got to do is take what this guy said, boom, get a click, and that counts for something. And it's not news. It's nothing. It's irritating, and it's making me dumber. It is making me dumber. And at 51 years old, I can assure you, I do not need to get any dumber.
That is true, and that's a hard thing to do, to make you dumber, and they're doing it.
They're doing it, man, and it's it's so God, it's so easy to see. It's like coaches, shut up. Agents, shut up. Fighters, talk. Say something. And don't just bite somebody else's move. Say something. When somebody puts a mic in front of your face, say something. Don't thank everybody. Oh, God. I want to thank everybody. I'll fight anybody. And I want to just thank for this opportunity. No, man. You had to have a chance. I know you had a chance. You had a chance to think about what would have happened had you got a victory. Say something in the lead up to the fight. This is a business. This is a business. And if you can't talk, let your fight speak for itself. And just say that. Just be real with it. Hey, I'm not a big talker. I'm going to go handle my business. Raging Al did great. He came out. He threw shade on everybody. But that's a guy that, has a lot of wins in the sport. He believes he should be fighting top echelon fighters. The Raging Alaquina.
Yep.
That's entertaining. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and cover that. That's something. But I don't want to hear about a coach telling me that wouldn't that be great. Of course it'd be great. Of course it'd be great. George needs to tell me that. Yeah. Connor needs to tell me that. I want to see that fight. I would love to see that fight. But there's a lot of fights. There's a lot of fights to make before that fight. Holly Holm is fighting Cyborg this weekend.
The man that is Cyborg.
That's just rude. That's just rude. That's just that's just rude. But anyway, good for you for throwing something. Hey, listen. Holly Holm lost out on the biggest fight in UFC history. She lost out because her management said, yeah, let's go ahead and fight, let's fight Misha.
Yep.
And Misha beat her. And that fight probably cost her $10 million.
Absolutely.
Maybe more. Well, there's another fight out there right now, and I've been banging on the horns for forever, and that's Nick or Nate and Connor 3. That they just need to run that fight back. They need to run it back as soon as possible, because you can go down a list of all the fights that we haven't had an opportunity to see because they took another fight. Perfect example is Chris Weidman against Luke Rockhold 2. They went different directions. It didn't work out. That would have been a great second fight.
Yep.
When was the last time we had a good trilogy? When was the last time we had a trilogy? I know we just do one.
Shit. When was the last one we had?
I mean, it's been forever.
Yeah, it's been a very long time.
The point is that when it looks as easy as it is, just do the fight.
Yeah.
Just do the fight.
Yeah.
You want. I see personalities getting in front of business, and those Diaz brothers are crazy to work with. But you know what? Nate's no dummy. All right, he made more money on the 2 fights with Connor than he was ever expected to make in his fighting career. So now he's sitting on one chance at the golden ticket, and he's smart. He's holding out. Good for him. But guys, that fight's going to work. Let's run it. Let's see that fight. Let's get that done. You've seen Holly said she'd sign an immediate rematch with Cyborg if she wins this fight. Well, of course you would, Holly. It'll be interesting to see how much business this fight does this weekend.
Very little. They are not talking about it whatsoever. I mean, nothing. It's a decent card.
I love the fight. I love Condit coming back against Magny. I love Khabib fighting Barboza.
That's a huge fight, yeah. And then you got Jimmy Rivera and what's his name? Lineker. Yeah. Oh, he's out.
Lineker's out.
I didn't catch that. Oh.
Yep, Lineker's out. So you got 3 good fights. It's not what we're used to. But again, you can only go to the well you can only go to the well so many times.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing 25, 35, some ridiculous amount of shows. So you're gonna, and this the show itself will probably perform. The show will probably be a fantastic show, but is it going to do business? Is it going to do New Year's business? Yeah, probably not. Probably not. And then the interesting one coming back on top of that is Chael and Rampage versus 2 title fights.
Yeah.
You know, Bellator's going head to head with the UFC, and that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
That's going to be a big hit for Bellator. I don't think they're going to, unfortunately, they're going to draw much away from the UFC viewers. But that's because they're doing theirs for free. It's a perfect night for me and you. Mm-hmm.
You know, we watch we watch the 2 fights on Bellator that we want to watch, and then we watch the 5 fights on the UFC that we want to watch. We don't care.
Well, I care. I'm going to be cage side of Bellator, so I may not make it back anywhere in time to see the fights.
That's right.
Especially being that they're in Boston, and then Bellator is obviously LA, West Coast. So I'm going to be watching results or live stream on my phone somehow.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well,
which sucks because that's a card. That's a UFC card that I definitely would have been at if, I hadn't already bought in the tickets for Bellator and booked that before the big fights got announced.
No, the headliner on that Bellator, headline on the Bellator card, isn't that Rory?
Yeah, Douglas Lima, Rory McDonald. Yep, that's going to be a nice little scrap. I got Rory all the way on that one. If he looks anything like he looked in his last fight, I think he's just going to roll through Lima, who's no slouch, but Rory just looked like an absolute killer in his fight against Paul Daly. So
well, good for again, Rory's doing one of those things, or, quite possibly he's doing one of those things that I talk about that are so hard to do, is have a second run.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had that first run and then took some major damage. And now it appears, it may be a little bit too soon to say that, it appears like he's looking to be on top of the second run.
Now let me ask you this. He wins this, which I think he will. He wins a belt, maybe defends a couple times. You think he comes back to the UFC? Or do you think he stays there? He rides it out? Because he legitimately could come back and compete and fight for a title immediately in the UFC.
He's pretty young, I'm not gonna. I would love to see it again. Man, the UFC business it's different than it's ever been. I mean, this isn't the UFC that we know about. They, quite frankly, okay. I mean, let's be real, okay. They conned. The biggest con job in the history of the world is selling the UFC for $4.2 billion.
Yeah.
So there's an entity, the Alphabet entity trying to make heads or tails of what they've gotten themselves into and how they can escape. What can they do? Because it looks like you may be onto something with the UFC going to Netflix for a bunch of money. They need to find somebody other than the mainstream, other than ESPN, other than Fox, other than NBC or Spike or whatever the new Spike was. They need to find an outside the box entity to go ahead and give them some crazy money, because they're not going to be getting it through ESPN. They're not going to get it through Fox. They're not going to get it through any of those other mainstream cable stations. So the business of the UFC, man, I'd love to see the entire business put in ESPN's hands.
Yes.
I would love to see Dana walk off into the sunset, maybe, start a new venture, be a fan. everybody's time has come. Everybody's time comes, and if and I think Dana's has. And this is coming from a guy that says, yeah, hey, Dana brought it here, and nobody can do it other than Dana. No, they can, and it's time for him to step away. When you're losing your biggest stars to your number one competitor, and it doesn't matter, you do not care, you got problems. You have problems. That's how the AFL and the NFL went about doing business, and why they had to merge, because the AFL was taking all their stars, and quite frankly, the UFC is just letting them go. They're just letting them go. The fact that I'm staying at Randy's house at the end of the year show, Randy's not only not in town, he wouldn't be welcome at the show anyway, is brain damage to me, because a personal conflict between Dana and Randy, a guy that, yes, made millions of dollars fighting, but without Randy carrying the flag when there wasn't anybody else, what happens to UFC, man? And nobody ever talks about that. And yeah, I'm a Randy Mark, and he's my guy, this, that, and the other. But yeah, I mean, it's time to continue to work together to make the sport better, or just hand over the reins.
Yeah, they've got to, and I think they will. I'm very, very interested to see the direction and the changes that do occur when Dana does step away, to see what becomes of it. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it's time that he just, hangs his hat on the accomplishments that he's done, the things that he's done with it, what he's built it to, and take his several $100 million and, like you said, go become a fan. So. And that, again, like you said, that will go down. I'm sure it was all legit, but that will go down as probably the most brilliant case of accounting that history will ever have. To whatever they did to make WME see value at $4.2 billion was brilliant. Those people ought to be set. Those accountants ought to be set for life and never have to lift a finger again.
Well, man, I tell you, it just. You don't have to go any further than the WWE, okay? Yeah. The WWE's worth 1.5 to 1.8, maybe let's just say $2 billion. So you're going to say the UFC is worth double the WWE. Okay, there's your first red flag. There's your huge red flag. Now we're gonna jump the shark when we're going to say the UFC is now worth more than the New York Yankees, the Chicago Cubs, the New England Patriots, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Oakland Raiders. Come on, man. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, it's baffling because, fake, scripted or not, I mean, every monthly WWE pay-per-view sells, I don't know what ticket-wise what they do, but they sell far more seats than any UFC pay-per-view. They just demolish the UFC as far as merchandising. So, yeah, $4.2 billion. Like I said, the most brilliant case of accounting that the world will ever see. It's
ever. But which leads us to the talking point that they now have to navigate a business. They have to navigate a business based on that number. So, okay, but if I'm worth $4.2 billion, well, then my rights to host my shows is got to be worth, $1 billion a year, $800 million. Man, they're not going to get what they just had. Not from the major names. They're not.
Nope.
It's just the numbers just are not there. The numbers are great, but they're not a mainstream sport.
No,
it's not a mainstream sport.
No,
it's not.
One of their biggest events in July. How many empty seats were there in the arena when we went? They claim it's a sellout. That's what they tell people. We another sellout. How many empty seats were there in that arena? I mean, it's not.
Yeah, see that's another card
that fell apart for whatever reason, and it did not deliver. It was a great card. We enjoyed being there. It was great fights, and it was Whitaker and
Romero.
And Romero had a fantastic fight. But again, it fell short. Mm-hmm. It fell short.
Yep.
So, yeah, and another thing to look at is Conor has done great for Conor, but Conor has not done great for this sport.
No,
he just hasn't. I was thinking about that tonight when I was on my way home, and I was thinking, I mean, good for him. He's under no obligation to do something for the sport, but that whole Mayweather fiasco, that whole Mayweather thing, that was a waste. That was a waste of time. That was a waste of time and money, and it was a spectacle, and he profited great. Okay, now it's time to double down and come back. The fact that the UFC is talking about getting in boxing, they need to. Again, they got to validate that $4.2 billion somehow. They've got to look outside the box and see how many Mayweathers they can get. One of the things they need to do is go wrap their arms around GSP. See if they can get a GSP, another 2 fights out of GSP. Now you have an opportunity to get behind him and run with him. Don't get pissed off because he took a fight he could win and he won. I didn't think he was gonna.
I agree.
I didn't think he was gonna. So moving on a little bit, get out of MMA for a minute, and then we'll finish up with some MMA.
Yeah.
Have you noticed the heat going on between Tom Brady and Bill Belichick over a Barry Bonds? It looks like a Barry Bonds kind of trainer thing. You remember Barry Bonds' his trainer? He was allowed to be in the clubhouse at all times. He had his own access. Doesn't that sound a little bit similar to that?
Very much so, yeah. Tom's Alvarez or Gutierrez, whatever his name is, yeah. His right-hand man who's on the sideline, on the plane, in the locker room. Yeah, just kind of with him at all times. And now Belichick comes out and says, no, this is not happening. Your sideline pass is revoked. There's no more seats on our plane. You're out of luck.
Now, you got the two biggest people in the NFL. You got Bill Belichick, who's the greatest coach of all time. He's got the most hardware.
Yep.
And you got Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, the most hardware. And it appears that there's a huge rift in that relationship. And God, do I hope it tanks them another Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the cause of it is, what the basis of it is, but
for Brady, it's no bigger than there can only be one general.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely a pissing contest, and you would think in an organization for everything that Brady's done, as long as he's still playing and performing, Tom gets to do whatever the hell Tom wants, and everybody just says, yes, sir. But under Belichick, it doesn't quite work that way. When Tom gets a little bit too much swagger, Bill steps in and says, oh, no. Not here, not now, not ever. So
yeah, I'm not fascinated by it. I love to see anything, because quite frankly, I have no reason to not like the New England Patriots. They're a solid organization. Yep. They get their little cheat on every once in a while, but that is a fantastic organization. I don't like them because they win all the time. Yep. It's that simple. When the Yankees were winning all the time, I hated them. So I think that's really the fan in me. I got no reason to hate them, but yeah, I'm rooting against them, and I'd like to see this little rift. So let's. I'm gonna finish up my end. I got two things real quick. I'm in the middle of a fight right now.
I can tell. Yeah.
And I'm about 3-200, and it's me fighting an impending cold or the impending flu. And again, I've won a couple of these battles, and the only way to win them is the only time I've ever won them is when I didn't acknowledge their existence. I said, no, I am not sick. I am not sick. I am not sick. And, I wouldn't, I'm not jumping in the cold pool tonight. I'm not doing too much cardio to wear down my body. But I don't have to roll over and just say, all right, I'm sick for 10 days. That's the goal anyway. Now, again, I've only got a couple of these wins. How about you? Have you ever just willed away a cold?
Yeah, that's kind of how I approach illness and sickness all the time. My philosophy is I don't get sick because I just don't get sick. I don't allow myself to succumb to illness, to the lethargy, to all that stuff. Whether it's doing a little bit more of a workout or just mentally just telling myself I'm not going to get sick. That's my whole goal with that. And some people laugh at that and think it's ridiculous, but I think it's very powerful to have a mental stance on that, because it plays into the whole placebo effect that people that are given the placebo in case studies and trials often perform and recover just as well as the people given the actual drugs and medications, because they believe they've got that medication, so they're all better. They're healing.
Yeah, and where I'm at with this is I'm not in a position to be sick. I'm taking Lad to Vegas this weekend for the fights. I'm not in a position to be sick right now. I'm not in a position to start my new year off under the weather and sick. So I am. I'm trying to go 8192 on an impending illness. Now I want to ask you, Sin, since you've named all three of your kids Chael, and your fourth child, I believe you're going to also name him Chael. Is that correct?
Chael 2. Just like the Foremans. I've got Chael 2, Chael 3. That's right.
Yeah. I mean, all right. So, how's Chael going to beat 260-pound Rampage?
Did you see him in his media pressers and stuff in New York? He looked yoked, man. He looks healthy. His arms look big. His traps look big. I think Chael's been doing a little lifting. I think if he comes in with the cardio, a normal Chael cardio with a few extra pounds and some muscle, Rampage is going to be 260 and slow. Rampage is not known for his cardio the last several years. I think Chael takes him down and grinds on him, and now he's got the extra.
How's he going to take him down?
Chael can take down Rampage. Rampage is not the wrestler that Chael is. I mean, Rampage has got some decent takedown defense.
218-pound Chael's gonna just Randy Couture, just blast double Rampage and put him on his back.
I think Chael comes in 235.
No.
I think he's going to be up there. I mean, he looks big.
I don't think he'll be anywhere near that. I could be wrong.
But yeah, you're right. I think he blasts doubles and he gets him down.
This is a fight that I love these fights. But again, this fight could have happened, 6 years ago. The reality is this. Chael is a way, way, way better wrestler.
Absolutely.
Than Rampage. But I don't think he can take him down with the double leg. I don't think he can blast double him. I think if Chael was smart, again, man, Khabib's fighting this weekend, and Khabib did this interview out in Russia, and he was talking about the Gaethje Alvarez fight, and he said it looked like two alcoholics fighting. He said that's just terrible. They shouldn't have done that to himself. And I took a step back, and I was like, God, he's just right. Their job is to go out and win a match. Now this is the first leg of possibly being a world champion, a heavyweight world champion. So the path to glory on this for Mr. Chael Sonnen, Chael the First, is making a goddamn Greco-Roman wrestling match, and he can take him down with trips. He can take him down with inside trips. He can foot sweep him. He can body lock him, but he needs to use that cage as an arm, and he needs to just pummel the fuck, and the only way on God's green earth he should try to get underneath him is if Rampage's back is on that cage. And the reason I'm saying this, the reason I'm telling you this, is because Chael will listen to the most random person on effing earth about his game plan. The guy next door could come up 10 minutes before the fight and say, hey, how about this? And he'd listen to it. Well, Chael listens to the show. Chael, Greco-Roman, baby. Greco-Roman for 15 minutes and you advance. It's that simple. He cannot beat you in a Greco-Roman wrestling match. You take him down at the end of every period and you score some points.
Absolutely.
Make it ugly, but get a W.
Absolutely.
That's all I got. Peace.
Peace. All right, guys. That was the Godfather. I agree with him to a point. I see Chael taking this one. I mean, Rampage is a knockout guy. When was the last time you seen Chael get knocked out? I can't think of the last time I seen him take a shot and get knocked out. So maybe Joel's right. Maybe he pummels, he works the Greco-Roman. He gets some trips, he gets him down. But I definitely see him out wrestling Rampage significantly. I don't think Rampage has even a fraction of the cardio to compete with Chael. I was joking. I don't think Chael comes in at 235. 225 perhaps, yes. But Rampage looked very stocky, in the interviews and the radio stuff and the media things we've seen online. So I just don't think he's going to be in the best condition. And I watched some of Rampage's training clips that he had posted. Yeah, he's doing some work, but he just looks slow. He looks like he's doing it for about 30, 45 minutes a day, but he's just slow. I just don't see him having the conditioning to compete with Chael. And it may not be pretty. It may not be a huge fan-friendly fight, but I see Chael coming out with a W, and I look forward to it because, yes, I will be there 4 or 5 rows back from the cage in LA at the Forum, taking that all in with my wife. So very excited about that. Guys, we thank you for sticking with us. We had a little time off with the Christmas break. Joel was under the weather, so we didn't get a Christmas show up. As he said, he's been fighting it hard, and then he had some time with Lad. But glad to be back, glad to get out to you guys. For everybody going to be involved in the nutrition challenge case study here for the first of the year, you can expect all that info tomorrow. It's plenty of time because week 1 is the first week of the year, but that is primarily the removal stage. So week 1 is not about changing up all our diet and adding all this new stuff. Week 1 is where we eliminate all the bad stuff. If we're drinking pop or soda, whatever you want to call it, sugars. Week 1 is all about cutting out all the bad stuff, adding more water and that kind of thing, and removing some of the very toxic elements to our diet. And then week 2 is where we implement the actual nutrition plan and we change the meal plan and we go off of what I'm sending you. So don't worry, we've got time. Like I said, we've got time to shop and order all the stuff you need. Most everything you'll find in any local grocery store, whether it's Sprouts or Earth Fare or Whole Foods or any farmer's market as far as the vegetables and so forth. Anything else, some of the grains and the oats and the psyllium, any of that stuff you can find on Amazon, especially if you're a Prime member. Get it in 2 days. The prices are great. That would be my recommendation. But again, expect all that by tomorrow. Plenty of time to get all that said, and I'm looking forward to running that program with all you guys and seeing some great results to start the year. That's really all I've got today. I was trying to think of anything else I wanted to throw out there at you. We're going to start the year here next week with some with some sponsor reads again. We've got one more coming on board. You may have seen my Instagram clip or my Facebook stuff on this sponsor. They do protein crisps in the form of like chips and crunchy snacks. They've got a very low-cal protein ice cream that I will be reviewing next week on the show, so look forward to that. And again, we're going to have some guests coming on in the next few weeks. I'm trying to line up, nail down the time with one of the guests. Again, a Bellator fighter who is here from my area, went to my university, and now is an entrepreneur himself, running a marketing advertising business for athletes and fitness industry people. So looking forward to that. We're going to get some good things coming at you. Again, I will have the press credentials for the Bellator fight, Bellator 192 in LA. So we're going to try and get some interviews, get some behind the scenes info to you guys, and just kind of take you behind the scenes at a major fight card. So look forward to that. Again, hope you guys all had a wonderful Christmas. And we'll try and get back here with you at least one more time before the new year. But if not, on the off chance, many blessings to everyone out there listening. Have a safe and happy New Year's, and we will be in touch soon. Until next time, guys, I'm out.